All right, guys. So I've been thinking a lot recently, but today about money and my finances and like getting my stuff together. And so I made a video. I said the other day I want to live free, like figure out a way, like how do you live free? And like what I mean, like not literally, but like what I mean is like buy your freedom back. So most people that just in general, like generally speaking, I feel like the majority of people, like I've lived my whole life, like you pretty much, I spend everything I make and then I'm always behind and I'm trying to catch up and like I'm borrowing money from this and trying to pay that. And this credit card pays off that one, and you know what I'm saying? And it's just like a huge mess and you're always behind and you're always trying to catch up and you're in the rat race. You're on this wheel and you're just getting nowhere, just running in circles. And so I've been thinking a lot about how to get out of that, how to steward my money well, and how to actually like build something and basically like just buy back my freedom. And because at the end of the day, like that's what everyone really wants. Like it's not about accumulating more stuff and having more, like a nicer boat, a nicer house. Like all of that will come later on after you've like built after you've built the foundation. And so I've been thinking about it and like how can I put my money into my earned income into investments? And like, yes, I have bills. Like my job right now, pretty much it pays my bills and have a little bit of extra, you know what I mean? But how do as I start making money with this, with coaching, with whatever, other business adventures, opportunities, whatever, like how do I put that money, that earned income that I'm like physically, like actually doing and putting work and effort into, how do I put all of that I possibly can, lower my expenses and not spend as much, like nearly as much, just what I have to, the bare minimum, car payment, insurance, whatever, like rent. I don't even have rent right now, but like, electric, water, whatever. Like how do I pay like the least amount, lower my expenses, and just, I guess, start putting in savings account, but I'm thinking like get a little nest egg. And how do I start putting that money, all of my earned income, as my earned income goes up, rather than buying a new apartment, getting a new place, a new car, a new whatever, watch, phone, etc. I don't know, earrings, like freaking necklaces. I want a freaking necklace, like clothes, shoes, whatever. Like rather than spending more, when I start making more, how do I put that extra? Because I think, as I start making more, I think I will pretty soon. Like, how do I put all of that into, I guess, savings at first and get like a little nest egg, you have your emergency fund, all that, but then start putting it into things that make me more money. So whether it's like cars, like buying cars and renting them out, or, Airbnb, buying properties and renting those out. There's so many things, and like little businesses and side hustles, like all kind of stuff that you can do down on the beach. And so how do I put all of my earned income, as much as humanly possible, into like building my business and building my, my space and my thing that like makes me more money and brings me more income back, you know what I mean? Rather than being a liability and just paying off a boat or a mortgage, or because your house, like, every Robert Kiyosaki, like everybody thought your house is an investment. It's not. It's a liability because you're paying into it. And it's just like a car, like I'm like upside down in my car payments. It's like you're putting money into this car, paying off the car payments, freaking $400 or $500 a month, whatever. And on top of that, you're paying insurance. And then on top of that, you have to pay to maintain it. And every time, like, freaking blew my engine up. But that's my fault. But whatever. It could have been fixed, prevented. But whatever. It is what it is. So, okay, it's still going. So, how do you rather than putting it into stuff that just, like, bleeds money out, and you have nothing to show for it, how do you get as much of that as quickly as possible? As, I don't know, I mean, I'd say 5 or 10 years of doing that, like, you could really, like, build something up, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know, I'm thinking, like, when I'm 35 or something, like, I don't know, I'm thinking a few years down the road, like, I could actually, like, you can actually build something if you have patience, and, like, learned a lot about patience recently. But yeah, so I don't know, I've been thinking about that, like, all really the past week, but, like, really all, like, today, like, all day today for sure. I've just, how do I get all of my earned income, have, 2 or 3 sources of income, but rather than going down there and, like, getting a new car, getting some clothes and shoes and an apartment and all this stuff, like, how do I put all that money into investments and, like, something that's actually gonna, like, build and, like, make me something for the future and, like, give back to me, you know what I'm saying? And so after I, like, get all that set up, then I can spend all that money on boats and clothes and shoes and cars and all the stuff, you know what I mean? But if it, like, you can be making $1 million, you could be making $100 million a year and it still not be enough because you're spending everything you have on boats and clothes and shoes and expenses and just stuff, liabilities, nothing that, like, brings you more income. So how do I put all of my earned income, all the stuff, like this, the cars, the business, my job, everything, my voice, sorry, everything that I'm working on, how do I put all of that into something that's going to make me more money?